Welcome to the 2024 NAIA Softball Championship Selection Show. In just a few moments, we will reveal all of the qualifiers and the brackets for the 43rd Annual NAIA Softball National Championship, beginning with opening round play on May 13th at 10 sites around the nation. 48 teams will enter opening round play, and the winners of those 10 sites will advance to the NAIA Softball World Series in Columbus, Georgia, beginning on May 23rd. The battle for the Red Banner begins now. There are two primary ways that a team can qualify for the National Championship opening round field: by receiving either an automatic bid or an at-large bid into the tournament. The number of teams in each league determines the number of automatic bids in each conference. Leagues with 10 or more schools receive 2 automatic berths, while conferences with less than 10 institutions receive 1. Automatic bids are determined by each conference and mainly include conference regular season champions, regular season runners-up, tournament champions, or tournament runners-up, depending on the league. The remaining at-large berths are selected by the NAIA Softball National Selection Committee, comprised of NAIA head coaches and administrators from around the country. Now, let's take a look at the opening round brackets. Let's move to the Chickasha bracket. The number 4 seed are the Wildcats of Baker. The Wildcats gained an at-large berth out of the Heart with an overall record of 33-14. They will match up against the number 5 seeded Falcons of Friends. The Falcons earned an at-large berth out of the KCAC with an overall record of 34-17. And the number 2 seeded Warriors of Midland. The Warriors were the tournament runners-up in the GPAC with an overall record of 42-10. They will face the number 3 seeded Generals of LSU Alexandria. The Generals won the Red River Tournament Championship with an overall mark of 35-12 and will return to the national field for the first time in 5 years. The top seed in Chickasha are the Drovers of Science and Arts. The Drovers were the Sooner Tournament champions with an overall record of 44-7 and entered the national field with 25 straight victories. Heading over to the Fayette bracket, the number 4 seed is the Evangels of Mid-America Christian. The Evangels earned an at-large berth out of the Sooner with an overall mark of 36-15. They will take on the number 5 seeded Blue Hawks of Dickinson State. The Blue Hawks are the tournament champions of the North Star with an overall record of 24-22. The number 2 seed are the Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan. The Wildcats were the tournament runners-up in the Crossroads with an overall record of 40-13. They will face the number 3 seeded Yotes of the College of Idaho. The Yotes earned an at-large berth into the field out of the Cascade with an overall record of 32-17. The top seed in Fayette are the Eagles of Central Methodist. The Eagles won both the regular season and tournament championships in the Heart of America Athletic Conference with an overall mark of 48-4. Hattiesburg bracket. The number 4 seed are the Grenadiers of Indiana Southeast. The Grenadiers are the River States Conference regular season champions with an overall mark of 34-16. They will face the number 5 seeded Tigers of Stillman. The Tigers earned an at-large berth out of the Southern States Athletic Conference with an overall record of 35-13. The Lady Crusaders of William Carey are the number 2 seed in the Hattiesburg bracket. The Lady Crusaders are the regular season and tournament champions of the Southern States Athletic Conference with an overall mark of 38-12. They will face the Eagles of Reinhardt. The Eagles won both the Appalachian Athletic Conference regular season and tournament championship with an overall mark of 42-8. The top seed in Hattiesburg are the Warriors of Jessup. The Warriors earned an at-large berth out of the Golden State Athletic Conference with an overall mark of 36-9. Heading to the Indianapolis bracket, the number 4 seed are the Saints of Aquinas. The Saints were the Wolverine Hoosier Tournament runners-up with an overall mark of 40-13. They will face the number 5 seeded Red Storm of Rio Grande. The Red Storm won the River States Tournament with an overall record of 34-17. The number 2 seed are the Raiders of Southern Oregon. The Raiders earned an at-large berth out of the Cascade with an overall mark of 36-16. They will face the number 3 seeded Knights of Middle Georgia State. The Knights were the Southern States Tournament runners-up with an overall record of 33-14. The top seed in Indianapolis are the Lady Knights of Marion. The Lady Knights are both the regular season and tournament champions of the Crossroads League with an overall record of 44-10. Taking a look at the Klamath Falls bracket, the number 4 seed are the Eagles of Embry-Riddle. The Eagles won the California Pacific Conference Tournament Championship with an overall mark of 38-11. They will face the number 5 seeded Conquistadors of Florida National. The Conquistadors were the tournament runners-up in the Continental Athletic Conference with an overall record of 23-22. The number 2 seed are the Lions of Vanguard. The Lions won the GSAC tournament with an overall record of 40-11. They will face the number 3 seeded Bobcats of St. Thomas. The Bobcats are the Sun Conference tournament champions with an overall record of 38-10 and will make their first appearance in the tournament since 2014. The top seed in Klamath Falls are the Owls of Oregon Tech. The Owls are the regular season champions of the Cascade Collegiate Conference with an overall mark of 43-9. When we come back, we'll take a look at the second half of the opening round brackets right after this. We head to the Lawrenceville bracket. The number 4 seed is the Spartans of Missouri Baptist. The Spartans were the regular season champions of the American Midwest Conference with an overall mark of 33-12. They will face the Cougars of Spring Arbor. The Cougars claimed an at-large berth out of the Crossroads with an overall record of 33-20 and will join the tournament field for the first time in 38 years. The number 2 seed are the Grizzlies of Georgia Gwinnett. The Grizzlies are the tournament champions out of the Continental Athletic Conference with an overall record of 29-15. They will take on the number 3 seeded Fire of Southeastern. The Fire earned an at-large berth out of the Sun with an overall mark of 38-17. The top seed in Lawrenceville are the Mountaineers of Eastern Oregon. The Mountaineers won the Cascade Tournament with a record of 37-8. Moving to Oklahoma City, the number 2 seed are the Jaguars of Houston, Victoria. The Jaguars grabbed an at-large berth out of the Red River with an overall record of 32-12. They will face the number 3 seeded Lady Lions of Freed Hardeman. The Lady Lions won the Mid-South Tournament with an overall record of 31-16. The number 1 seed are the Stars of Oklahoma City. The Stars were the regular season champions in the Sooner Athletic Conference with an overall record of 49-3 and are making their 34th appearance in the national tournament field. They will face the number 4 seeded Braves of Ottawa. The Braves were the number 2 seed in the KCAC tournament with an overall record of 38-16. Let's start with the San Antonio bracket and the number 2 seeded Royals of Hope International. The Royals earned an at-large berth out of the GSAC with an overall record of 35-15. They will face the number 3 seeded Valor of Evangel. The Valor won both the Kansas Collegiate Athletic Conference regular season and tournament championships with an overall record of 36-8 and will join the national field for the first time in 18 years. The number 1 seed are the Saints of Our Lady of the Lake. The Saints were the regular season champions of the Red River Athletic Conference with an overall record of 15-3. They will make their second consecutive appearance in the national tournament field. They will face the number 4 seeded Comets of Cotty. The Comets were the AMC tournament runners-up with an overall record of 31-19. Heading to the Sioux Center bracket, the number 4 seed are the Cougars of St. Xavier. The Cougars claim the Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference tournament title with an overall record of 27-12. They will face the number 5 seeded Bruins of Bellevue. The Bruins gained an at-large berth out of the North Star Athletic Conference with an overall record of 32-19. The number 2 seed are the Crusaders of Madonna. The Crusaders are the regular season and tournament champions out of the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference with an overall record of 47-3 and will carry a 26-game winning streak into the national tournament. They will take on the Vikings of Grandview. The Vikings claimed an at-large berth out of the Heart with an overall record of 33-17. The top seed in Sioux Center are the Red Raiders of Northwestern. The Red Raiders are the regular season and tournament champions out of the Great Plains Athletic Conference with an overall mark of 48-5. Moving to the Williamsburg bracket, the number 4 seed is the Bulldogs of Tennessee Wesleyan. The Bulldogs are tournament runners-up in the Appalachian with an overall record of 27-13. They will face the number 5 seeded Fighting Saints of St. Francis. The Fighting Saints earned an at-large berth out of the Chicagoland with an overall mark of 29-14. The number 2 seed are the Ravens of Benedictine. The Ravens are the tournament runners-up in the Heart with an overall mark of 39-14. They will take on the number 3 seeded Mariners of the College of Coastal Georgia. The Mariners gained an at-large berth out of the Sun with an overall mark of 36-12. The top seed in Williamsburg is the Patriots of the University of the Cumberlands. The Patriots earned an at-large berth out of the Mid-South Conference with an overall record of 44-7. Let's take one more look at the championship field. The 43rd annual NAIA Softball National Championship gets started on May 13th at 10 opening round sites throughout the nation, culminating with the NAIA Softball World Series beginning on May 23rd at the South Common Softball Complex in Columbus, Georgia. Catch all of the action in the World Series on NAIA.org and both the semifinals and championship on ESPN3. Thanks for watching and good luck to all of our qualifiers.